the screen in just a moment. So I am hitting the go live button here and it should be telling us that we're live in just a moment. While it's doing that, I'm going to flick across to the main camera as well. There we go. Right, let me flip back as well. By the way, howdy, I'm Matt. Welcome aboard to this live session. Those of you which are on live, can you do me a favor and let me know if the audio is good and the video is good as well. Now on to a serious point. What is today's topic of Build Saturday? Well, it's orange and white, and you are not going to believe what I do to this model very, very shortly. Now, before we go any further, the purpose of a Build Saturday is just for me and you to be here at the workbench, working together, maybe repairing models, just chatting about foam, or creating a very special creation, which I'm sure you've not seen before. So we've got that as well. And I've got a collection of other topics out here as well. So remember, if you are on the live version, you can join in with the live chat on the right-hand side of your screen. Of course, if you're watching this afterwards, don't forget, you can leave any comments or any discussion underneath this video, or maybe even pop across to the Rag the Nuts off Facebook group. There's a link to that in the video description after we've gone live. So with that said, let's get across to the desk because we've got an awful lot to discuss about the Bond rack and the Tet rack from the weekend because they went really well. So what I'm going to do is grab there. I really should set up some shortcut keys. I'll do that for next week. As many of you are aware, this is a work in progress of the format, and sooner or later I will get it sorted. So I can see it's nicely over here on the screen. So if you didn't know, and I'll give you the quick update on this, this is the Bond rack. And it just would not die. The video on this one is live tomorrow evening. Those of you which have been in and are in the Rag the Nuts off Facebook group, I did post the video to that one as a Friday night special last night. And now I've been set it as a premiere for tomorrow night, so nobody can watch it until tomorrow night now, I'm afraid. Also on the topic of other videos this following week, I've got about 4 or 5 videos which are in backlog right now, and I'm going to schedule those to come out over the next week. And I've also got some other ad hoc ones which I've got in the list here to do for you, and they will come out in the next week or so too. But just be aware, I do post them in the Rag the Nuts off Facebook group first. So if you want to see the videos before they even come out, that's the place to go and see them. And you also get a hint on what's coming out as well in the very near future. So quick summary on the Bond rack. Genuinely really surprised on how well it flew. And that poor little motor, can you see how black? Is it going to focus? Possibly. Can you see how dark those windings are in that poor little motor? We really did give it a hot supper. Is it 1806 Emax? What was it? What kV was it? 2,280 kV. We were running it on 4S, and we definitely, you could hear it thermaling in the sky. That said, it did fly. Once we got the CG sorted out, it did fly really, really well, and that's on one of my to-do lists for this weekend. What I'm going to do is extend the nose out. And the reason why I need to extend the nose out is because we were having the battery rammed up right up the front, and I'm going to put a bigger 2205 or maybe a 2206 motor on the back end of this one, and you can see it does need a little bit of love because I kind of broke it. So yeah, really, really promised. Genuinely, really surprised how well they flew in the sky. Couldn't believe it. So that was the Bond rack. The other one, which was a raving success. Let's face it. Who knew it was going to do so well? I didn't know it was going to do so well. I'm pretty sure you didn't know it was going to do so well either. And that was the Tet rack. That did so amazingly well in the sky. Once we got the CG sorted, and after we realised that the motor had died, yeah, really, genuinely surprised. I would like today... I don't know if we're going to get it in today's build live session. I need to fix that as well. Better than the field fix, which we did. Is that I need to put some wing fences on this one so it maybe flies a little bit straighter in the sky. And of course, I need to fix the motor as well because we kind of burnt that one out. Now, A couple of you did pick up that with the motor on the back of this one, it is absolutely a genuine fake. Those of you which don't know about fake Sunny Sky motors, the biggest giveaway. So while we take a look at the can on the motor, just there, if it will ever focus, when you look at the wires, the red, blue and black wires, there are no Sunny Sky writing on them, and that's normally, a very good giveaway that we have an issue with the model, with the motor's authenticity. Hence, why most likely that was the reason why it burnt out, because it was a genuine fake which we received. But no, we are not working on the Von Drac or the Tech Drac today. I'll do those in my own time. Instead, I have a very special creation which we are going to make from this beautiful model today. So let me just set the scene here, is that there is a type of aeroplane called a Sir Newton. And that type of aeroplane is a Canard aeroplane. Now, what is a Canard? Well, basically it's having a front surface on the front of the model. So you know this model by looking it in, so the air goes that way. Might I suggest you take a second look at it and think about what happens if the air goes that way instead. Has that just clicked in your head exactly what we're up to? Yes we are. The model's not particularly good, to be frankly honest. I know some of you may be going, oh Matt, it's a park zone, it's going to be really good and stuff. Didn't really like it. It really just didn't fly very well in the sky. So we are going to adapt it slightly, expect some carnage as we go through. And the goal is to perhaps take it out tomorrow or later next week and go out and fly it and see how it does by flying the model as a Canard model rather than a standard fixed wing model. But as you may know, in short, and I've just noticed this servo is hanging off in there. So if you are on live right now, give me a thumbs up. What are you building at the moment? Are you sat in bed because maybe you're in the States or something like that? And while it might be the morning here for me in the UK, it might be the evening for you. So maybe you're sat up in bed watching this and nodding off to sleep. Or maybe you're at your workbench as well, working on a Model 2. Let me know what you're up to. You can do that in the live chat on the right-hand side of your screen. And good morning, David, by the way. Good morning, Anard. Good morning, Dave. Diamonds and Rust, good morning. Spiller, good morning. RC Flyer, Steph, good morning. And Space Toy, good morning too. So, yeah, do let me know what you're up to. You can do that in the live chat on the right-hand side of your screen. And by the way, if you're using your mobile phone and your pad, you have to press the live chat button, and you can then see the chat which is going on the right-hand side of your screen. So with that said, we need to plough on and look how we're going to get this model out. And I need some weapons. And I'm a little bit limited on weapons here at the moment because I'm still, those of you curious about the CNC, I'm still in the process of building that one. And it's proving, well, the CNC itself is absolutely fine. Really straightforward so far. I've got some wiring to do later today, but before I even get to that, I've got to finish off the bench to it. And those of you which are in the Faceballs group, I'm sure you've seen the size of the work table which I've built to it. And I cannot believe it is still not rigid. So that's one of the things I need to do today, is make up some diamond gusset. So basically make some triangles out of MDF wood. And then basically gusset the entire structure to make it wedding tackle grade, not wedding prep grade, which is exactly what I was going to say first time around. But let's not even go there on that one. So I was having a conversation with my kids in the car on Thursday. That is the worst screwdriver ever, about the topic of swearing, which was quite funny actually, because the best swear word they could come out with was dingus, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. So they thought it was fun as well. So that was the main thing. So my view on swearing, by the way, is that as long as it's not aimed in a derogatory or negative fashion towards a person or group of persons, it's all fine. And frankly, I'm the first person to take the pee out of myself. So yeah, all in context is what I'm trying to say. Context is everything. I think that's the correct word of what we're looking for here. Oh, wow. I see most of you are awake. Bernard George says, morning, off to work very soon. We'll catch the whole video later. Have a great day at work, Bernard. Remember, work pays for phone. Happy days. Dave says, I'm trying to fix some video issues on my FX79. That is an absolutely humongous model. If you don't know what the FX79 is, that's the Buffalo wing, which is 79 inches. It's absolutely massive. And also equally, the biggest puppy in the sky. But you'd be genuinely surprised how well you can throw those around the sky. And fit in a new all AP, so autopilot, into my Vorti. Vorti's actually on my list. I've got a couple of... I will give you a few hints of some of the things which are coming up later in today's live episode. Vorti is ironically one which is on that list because I've also got to fix mine as well, Dave. Caroline says, about to build a X29 forward swept wings. Not seen that one before. 70mm 6S EDF. That is just a drive to... No, that's nuts. That's nuts. Steph is just waking up. Oh, gonna laminate your new mini rack. Happy days, happy days. Steph, give you a little hint. Just if the surface of your model is very, very greasy, okay, you want to put... You want to clean that off, and sure. Very, very lightly soapy water would do it. Baby wipe as well. You're just trying to get the mold release off it. But saying that, the mini racks are normally manufactured to a very, very high standard anyway. But just check the foam first before you try and put laminate on it to make sure it's not super greasy, because that will tell you there's lots of mold release on there as well. Good afternoon, Sir Bolson, as well. Andrew, did you see my little comment in the video the other day? Don't know if you saw that one. Red Dragon, good morning from Amsterdam. Good morning, sir. Carlos says 2 crashed V900s. Looks like a twin P51. I like your thinking, sir. That might be a little project which I've got here to go on this very workbench in the very near future. Maybe next weekend or maybe the weekend afterwards. Remember, these build Saturdays they're meant for repairs, although I'll do those two later. I'm in no urgencies to do that. But I'm also gonna have some fun. I think that's the best way of explaining it. We are gonna have some fun here at the bench. I have no idea where this is gonna go, so it should be quite good fun, to say least. Eris, good morning as well. Scotland, happy days. You get wet later on this afternoon. I did check the weather yesterday, and it looks like it got better. Hey ho, I'm sure it'll clear up very, very soon, so you can get out and get some flying in as well. There's Steph. Yeah, it looks clean as brilliant. Appreciate the heads up. Yeah, absolutely. I didn't actually laminate mine. Mine actually came pre-laminated. It doesn't look like a particularly hard one to do. Oh, and Steph, another massive tip for you, just from my personal experience, and I'm stood here trying to find the mini rack, which is just down here. And you have to take it from my own experience, and we really should work on this mini rack at some point, and I should really flip it over to the main camera, because we seem to be spending quite a bit of time on that one. So let's go to that one there. A little tip for you. Oh, we're not going to see it. I'll point it out anyway, so you can see it. Well, you can just about see it in there, Steph, is down the inside. I don't know if mine was a prototype, so hopefully yours has got the same too. Is that there is this little trench all the way down on the inside in there, Steph. And what I did on mine was that I put some glass fibre rods down either side, used pins to hold it in, and then used a load of either goop or E6000 glue to make them stick. And this model has had several hard nose punts from a mixture of failed launches, failed landings, and hitting stuff. And this nose is still as rigid as the day I got it. So laminating definitely helped, but also putting those extra rods in there. Really, if it's a model which you've spent a lot of money on, for an extra 5 minutes to put some carbon rods in there or glass fibre rods in there, definitely worth doing. So Steph, I hope that helps. Anyway, let's get ourselves back to the desk, and I'll flick back over there. Oh, Harry Haggis, good morning as well. Let's have a quick look. Trying to get the survey to me with a flight controller. I'm at the limit of throwing it in the bin. Yeah, I may have hit a flight controller before with a hammer. It was a very satisfying experience. Anyway, let's get ourselves back over to this desk and take a closer look and progress onto this one. So yeah, that's my plan today, is to build us another Sir Newton, which is, I'm going to call it Voyager. Yeah, that's going to be or do I save that for the other Carnage one? I don't know yet. Naming to be confirmed. But so for the interim, it's going to be known as a Sir Newton. So in my head, for every model which has got a Canard on the front. And why do we not see very many models with Canards on the front? It's very uncommon. I think we've discovered a theme here, and I want to say a big thank you to Mr. Newton for doing that, because I completely forgotten about it. And from somebody who flew his first Canard plane on the weekend, what an absolute handful. It was the most oddest profile I have ever seen in the sky. It was a joy to fly for many different reasons. So, heck, we're going to make some more of these. And, I think I've really glued that in now. We'll soon find out, mate. And those of you which have perhaps joined us a few minutes later, today's topic is that we are going to be building ourselves a Sir Newton, which is a Canard plane from this less than perfect extra 300, which was from Park Zone. It wasn't a very good model, to be honest. Hopefully we can, and it's been in my cellar for far too long, so that's always a sign that perhaps A, either needs to move on to a new home, or B, Matt needs to get the craft knife blades out, and we're going to adapt it and turn it into a new invention. So when you start seeing this thing hacked to pieces, delicately manipulated into a new creation in a few moments, well, starting right now, don't panic, it will go on and live again. Now, I'm a little bit curious on this one because I'd like that surface, or maybe I should just focus on getting the wings off. Let's focus on getting the wings off first, because we'll need that. Oh, that'd be fun, trying to turn that spar around the other way around. With that said, has anybody here been and created themselves a Sir Newton yet, a Canard or forward swept model? If you have, let me know down in the comment section on the left hand side of the screen, because I'd be very curious on how well Matt can hit the camera. No, on a serious point, I'd be very curious to see what your experience has been with a Canard Maced aeroplane, because I think there's definite legs in it. We don't see them every day, and as such, let's explore it a little bit further. So I need to get some of this plastic off here, and I'm trying to be polite because I'd like for it to look as best as it could be on the flight line, or obviously until we throw it, and because you never really know what's going to happen until you lob it in the sky, do you? Oh, that's just something else I need to do today. I need to get a screen up there on the wall so I can see your comments as they come in while we're on here live. So I'm having to lean over there. Davey says, morning Matt, looking forward to the less Canard maiden. It is going to be fun. Phil, watching you while at work, happy days. I just hope you're not a driver, let alone a bus driver. That would not be safe. Let's have a quick look. David says, I think the big drac used to ship with the Canards. Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure it did. I'd completely forgotten about that. What's his name? Andrew. What's his name? Mr. Bolton. He has a full-size drac. Do you think we should get Andrew out with a full-size drac? I think we do. Andrew, you still watching this? We need to get that big drac out and get it flying. Just for... Because once it was in the sky, once we got it launched, it was fine. It was the whole getting it launched, because I don't know if you've ever seen a full-size drac. They are absolutely massive. And I've had big models here, but that one just really takes the biscuit, to say the least. Good morning, Julian, as well. Morning, all. Won't be able to stop for long. Going out to a wartime experience thingy. Happy days. At least I'll see a real Spitfire flying. Happy days indeed. Quickly move on. And can't see that topic at the moment, Steph, by the way. Right, anyway, let's get these out there. We won't be needing landing gear where we're going. Was that a line in, what was it, the film Paul? And wasn't that a line stolen from another film? I'm pretty sure it was. I can't remember which film that came from though. Right, anyway, on a serious point, we need to get this rear surface out somehow, because we need to get it out and then turn it round. And I also need to work out how I'm going to get this tail fin thing off. And this is where it's going to get a bit gnarly. So if you are of a delicate disposition, apologies for me putting my back to you. My toolbox is behind me. This is where it's going to start getting curious. Very, very, very quickly. Right, let's get that cut out of there. Like so. Now, I do want to keep this section as one piece, so... We've started. It can only go forwards from here. Right, how does this come out? Oh, it looks like I've glued it in. That's going to be fun, because what I'd like to do is to get this surface, what most people would know is the elevator surface. I would like to get that out, and hopefully in one piece, he says. We don't need to have any control surfaces on it, because what I was going to do is get some carbon, and then I'd also got the whatchamacallit gun out as well, the iron, and I was going to put some carbon rods in it to make it really stiff, because I don't think that's going to work out too well otherwise. So I wonder if this is out. I think it's only just gently stuck in here. Doesn't appear to be. Ah, found it! There are screws! There are screws in there. Can I get them? Yes, there's one. I was here trying to think, that's very well stuck in there. Perhaps a little bit too well stuck in there. So let's get this out, so we can get this surface out. I wonder how that's glued in. That's quite an odd design. Yeah, the model itself was... I bought it on sale, I'm not complaining. Someone posted it in the Facebook group, and it wasn't that expensive. I think it was only like 50 quid plus delivery, something like that. It was alright, but it wasn't that good in the sky. Right, there are some screws in there. So how the hell... Oh, there's one bit out. One screw. That one's obviously not come out enough. Two screws. Come on. Oh, gentle persuasion-ish. Grab that one. I don't think this bottom one's come out properly either. We'll undo that one as well. Come on. Right. Come on! Am I the only one which talks to their models when they're trying to build them? I'm sure I'm not. Ow! Fuck, that was sharp. One of the delights of doing this live. So those of you which have joined us live, Matt's managed to stab himself. Quite well at that. Oh, quality. Yeah, that's going to be nice. Yeah, put some tape around that. I better do blue grade because I don't want to infect the model. Whoops. See, I am human-ish. I should stick some blue tape around that. Solder on. And obviously I've been and used blue tape because I would hate for that to get lost in the model and for somebody else to try eating the model and then find a blue or other plaster which is in it. So anyway, why are you not coming out? I do not understand how that is stuck in there so blooming well. I'm going to have to stick a knife up underneath it. Whoops! Drop that on the floor. Right, pausing for a moment to go and have a look at your comments as well. Made a long EZ, a Canard model, flew beautifully and smooth, stable, until it fell safe into a river. Good girl. Vince, good morning. What time do you call this, sir? What else have we got on it? I'm sure you can glue the canards together. to make a boomer version of the big track. I'm sure you well could too as well. So Davey, yeah, I like the plasters already. So those of you which have just joined us, we've Indra's in the office are rife at the moment. Let's go careful with that one, because I don't really fancy stabbing myself again today. Once a day is enough for me. Come on! Why you no come out? Come on. Right, that reminds me, on my to-do list today is to edit up the Funny Farm episode from this Sunday, which is just passed. Something which I've been perhaps a little bit lapse on doing lately. And the nice thing about doing a Funny Farm episode is that we get to kind of include everything which went on during the day, which does include, wow, that was some glue they used in there, which does include maidens and other things which have happened as we went through. So that's quite a lot of gravity at the back of, whoa! Have you seen the size of the motor in there? Just says Horizon Hobby. That's got to be a 35-36 motor in there, which they have a look up in there. I don't know if you can see it in there. That is a huge, great big motor which they got in there. Oh, and I think I've taped on, and this kind of points out how bad that model was. That I've had to tape on a huge, great big lump of lead, which is never a good sign. And I've taped up the fuselage bit there. Right. Obviously, we don't need those servos in there anymore, so we'll get those out too. They were mediocre at best. So, come on. We'll delicately remove those, like so. And obviously the other push rod. We'll delicately remove that as well. What servos were those? Absolutely covered them in glue. They were DSV 13130M Park Zone servos, which are probably just a copy of someone else's servos, or just their servos with their label on it. Very, very common in the, well, it's very common in the, everywhere. In short, rebranded stuff's all over the place. Anyway, moving on. Kevin, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. So I'll tell you what. For those of you which have just, I'm going to just quickly say again, because we've got a few latecomers here. What we are in the process of building is another Sir Newton. Now, this is on the back of the really, really interesting flight which I had on Sunday with the other little baby Sir Newton, which I made out of the Lidl glider. And I'll give you a spoiler right now. It flew. It was very interesting in the sky. It was a right handful, and I've never seen a stall like it. I'm sure you'll see that when that episodes get edited up. But for just a unique profile in the sky, it was absolutely fascinating. So that's something which I want to explore further. I've got this Extra 300, this Park Zone Extra 300. It was not a very good model. Hopefully you cannot buy it anymore. I bought that one on for 50 quid a while back. And that's what we're doing here at the workbench, converting it across to a Canard base model, aka a Sir Newton. And with that said, I've managed to stab myself already. I've got some coffee here. And of course, remember, we've got the live chat going on the left hand of the screen. I'm here building myself a Sir Newton. Don't forget to let me know what you're building and what you're working on. And you can do that in the live chat over on the left hand side of the screen. Let's have a quick look. Carlos says C8 and kicker stops bleeding, which was actually, it's ironically its original purpose for C8 glue. But I've got CA here, but I don't have any kicker, unfortunately. Still waiting for the maiden of the Ranger. David, I will put that, I've forgotten about that. Ranger maiden. And I think Mr. Andrew Bolton's still on the live chat. Andrew, let me know how many beans did I give it in the sky for its maiden. I did kind of throw it around quite a bit. Yeah, you wait to see that maiden. I really did give it all the beans and then some more. I only hope that Andrew kept up with the what we were doing with it. Talk about it, and by the way, it flew out like an absolute kitten. It flew just exactly as one would hope and also what one would expect. It's one of those, by the way, if you're wondering what we're talking about, it's the Ranger 1600. If you go back a video or two on the YouTube channel, you've got the unboxing, you've got the post build point of view, and I think it was probably about 7 hours in the end, all in from start to finish. It wasn't a quick mod. I said 5 hours in the video, and I think that was a gross underestimate of the amount of time it should took me to build it, because getting the vector inside of it was a royal pain in the rear. Those of you which have done it know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you don't put a flight controller on it, because it doesn't really need one, to be honest, if you're only flying it line of sight or just flying it FPV locally, like within the same field-ish, is that it's just a couple of plugs and off you're going to go. It's going to be stupidly quick to get going. But I decided that I wanted to put a vector in it. Yeah, as such, I had a few challenges doing it. That said, secondary flew it, thanks to everybody's tips from the comments on YouTube and the comments over on Facebook. Big thank you to Julian as well. Is that we had an uneventful maiden. That's all I'm going to say. But after that, we did really smash it around the sky pretty good. How long ago did the stream start, says JJ? 31 minutes ago. So if you want to hit rewind now. Anyway, no, on a point. We need to get going because I want to get this out and get this semi-built today so we can go out and get it flown. It is going to be a bit of a challenge trying to fit this thing in the car. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So my plan is for what was the elevator surface is to go and raid my carbon pot. And did you have a pot like that at all? A pot of random bits of carbon fibre, push rods and other things. And that's what my plan is to get a rod or two and then stick it in the model. That doesn't sound, how that really does hurt. Stick that in there. And I'm trying not to, I don't want to chop up any really, to be honest. I want to just reuse what I've got. Oh no, there's 3 there. There's 4 there. So I'm going to stick a few bits of carbon in the surface to keep the surface straight. And then, I'll put that over there so it can fall over in a minute, I'm sure. And then I'm not going to be keeping that control surface. So let's get that right now. Control horn, should I say. Come on, off we go. And then I'm going to laminate it because that is the crudest and strongest way which I can think of for getting this to fly straight. So just looking at that, is that level? Yeah, it was better up the other way. Right. So yeah, this is my plan. It's just stick a few bits of carbon in it, and that should hopefully stick it together. That's what the plan is. Whether that happens or not, nobody knows. We're about to find out in a moment. So I think we're going to get thwarted by there being a piece of carbon already inside, or a bit of glass fibre inside the model. I think I will fix that like so. Oh, come on. Yeah. Is that going to be enough? Come on. Because what we want is a nice stiff surface so it doesn't end up flapping around, although let's face it, we all know it's going to take a few whacks when we go to launch it, I'm sure. Right, in you go. Yeah, I'm going to have to do this shorter. So, work in progress. We're making this up as we go. Let's get that in there. I'm sure you can see what I'm doing. Well, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. It's just ramming the bits of carbon fibre up inside of there. So we end up with what we're trying to make is we'll turn this around and then we'll make ourselves a canard on the front of the model. Now, one thing which I would like to experiment with is what happens if we have movable surfaces at the front and what kind of impact that has to a model. And that's something which I'm sure we'll look at a later date. But for today, let's just focus on getting it roughly flight worthy, and we'll sort out the luxuries later, because the rear surfaces, the ailerons, will turn the wings around the other way as well, and I'm sure those will be good enough for the interim, and we can perhaps look at making these front surfaces movable later. Right, as I'm sticking wherever it is, laminate on that in a moment, and you'll see how quick laminating can go. Is that we, or I will, just be using, if I can find a tube of it. That was all. Oh, there we go. Excuse me. I've not fully migrated across this desk yet. The thing which is holding me back at the moment is the CNC router, because that is a work in progress, and half my tools are out in the other man cave, and half my tools are in here, and I need the CNC up and running because I want the CNC to make me a dedicated tool rack, but I can't do that without the CNC. So yeah, it's catch-22 at the moment with chicken and egg scenario. Oh, and of course we mentioned earlier I need to sort out the workbench as well. Anyway, boys and girls, go careful of brand new blades and things because they really do hurt. Hence why I've got the blue sticker on my thumb. Right. With that said, let's get this on here. It doesn't have to be the prettiest job in the world. It just needs to keep it roughly safe, and it will. I can tell you right now, it won't be the best laminating job in the world because I'm just going to stick that on there, and off you go. If anything, oh, those of you which have never laminated a model before, there's a couple of reasons why you would want to laminate an RC model. The first one is because it helps keep the model clean. The other reason is because it helps your model become stiffer. If we think about a sandwich a moment, so we'll take this surface here. So you'll see this surface is maybe a little bit flexible at the moment. Is that if you think about, think about your wing. Okay, that's a better surface. So think about your wing. Right now we don't have any tape or covering on there. However, if we were to put a layer of plastic film on the top and on the bottom and glue it to the model itself, is that when the wing wants to flex up, so when the wingtip wants to come underneath load and wants to bend that way, is that the laminate on the bottom restricts that movement, and the same in the opposite direction. So you end up with a much truer and stiffer wing section and fuselage. And the other one is that it makes you, frankly, just makes your models last longer, because it means that they can take more abuse. There's no other words for it. Because we do fly from sometimes fields of poo, and it's not the best for models at all. And as such, it's let's go put that over there, put that over there. As such, it just keeps your model clean. So stiffness, cleanliness of your model, and it just makes it more robust as well, all round more robust. And laminating is not hard at all. I've got a little miniature series on YouTube called How to Laminate RC Models. There's 3 different episodes and we go into all the basics and stuff. Really straightforward. It's like, where do you get your laminate from, and so on and so forth. And once you've done a couple of models, you'll soon work out it is really easy to do. And yes, I'm doing a cheat job on this one, because I just want it to have some chance of staying in one piece, and I'm not really that fussed of how well it looks at the end of it. It just needs to look like a wing, and I am going very quickly because I want to desperately want to progress on to getting this and looking like a Sir Newton by the end of today's live episode, which we are, and I am intending for us to be live for an hour. What time is it now? It's 20 to 10. I am aiming to be wrapped up by 10 o'clock, so I am moving quite quickly, or as quickly as I can without trying to chop my finger off again. Get that over there, and get that one out, like so. In there. Anyway, I'll tell you what, I'm going to pause in a moment once I've got this done up, because we don't need that much over there. Cut there. I want to cut there, cut there, cut there, cut there, trim that off. There we go, cut the corner off as well, and cut the corner off that side. Right, that's going to make things go very quickly. So we're just going to tuck that around there. Obviously, if this was a new mini Talon, which we were working on here, is that I would spend far more time on the cuts, the cleanliness, and the overall finish of the model. Whereas this one, I don't, frankly don't care. We just want to get it in there and get it glued up in a minute, so we can get it looking like a Sir Newton for you as quickly as you can. And I'll finish up the rest of it this week. Right. Well, over the next day or two. And of course, I'll keep you updated with the progress of the build in the Facebook group as and when that happens, which will be, yeah, I've got a collection of things which I need to get done in this new week, but this will also be in the to-do list for that to be done as well. Right, sit over there. Right, I am trying to hurry along because there are a set of topics which I want to get to over there. In fact, what I'm going to do, I can get that cut out of there. Right. Next week, got a collection of episodes which you will find later on today. They get set as premieres for later this week. There are a few exceptions. There's going to be 1 or 2, hopefully, live episodes over the next week as well. The first one is for the AXN Cloud Surfer, which has arrived here. We've had a quick sneak preview in the box. I think we did that on one of the other build Saturdays. However, the reality is that I really do need to do a dedicated video on that, because it's worthy of it. The AXN Cloud Surfer was the model which got me started with an RC. That's the reason why I'm stood here chatting to you right now. So we need to give that one the time it deserves. So look out for a live episode. And that we also have a Hobby King Bixler over there as well, which requires us or our attention. I think that, oh, hello. Do you know what? I think that's going to sit in there all right. Should we just get the hot glue out and, yeah, let's get the hot glue gun going. Oh, one massive tip for you, and I'll put a link to. I cannot stress how useful that hot glue gun has been to me at all. I'll put a link to that in the video description after we've gone live. I've had that one for 2 years, 3 years, something like that. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And it does warm up much quicker if you use 4S, and B, if you use a blowtorch to warm up the metal piece on the end. And that's one of the things which I really like about this one, is because I took it apart and the actual glue piece, the heating element in at the front is actually quite a good chunk of metal, and as such it will maintain its heat quite well. And by the way, as a master tip for you, those of you if you're anything like me, you just want to get on and maybe you forgot to put your hot glue gun on, if it's got a great big metal tip at the end, get yourself a blowtorch and then just warm it up. So while that's carrying on, I can turn that off now because we don't need that anymore. Skinny Guy FBV, howdy fella, how you doing? Those of you which are joining us live, let us know in the live chat what you're working on, what you're building on, maybe what new phone you've got coming this week. Let me know what you've got, what you're up to. Howdy James as well, and let's quick look at your comments. Right, moving on, put those out of the way. Right, into next week. Mention the AXN. We also got the Bixler. Expect 1 or 2 of those to be, one or either or both of those to be as a live session at some point next week. I will try and give you a good day's worth of notice on those. There is a very, very special episode which I haven't made yet, but it's on the way. What we're going to do, and I'm only going to mention, I've kind of hinted it in the video which comes out tonight about the Bond rack, is that what we're going to do is we're going to take a Texumo, chop it in half, we're going to get a bonsai, chop that in half as well, and then we're going to put a bonsai on the front as canards, and then we're going to stick the, what should we call it, the Texumo at the back of the model, and I'll find a fuselage off another model, and we'll create a Frankenstein Sir Newton. That's the next plan. Look out for that in the next couple of days. Because that one's completely lodged in the back of my head, and I'm here looking for hot glue sticks. That one's lodged in the back of my head as a to-do one. I think it's definitely going to look, what should we say, unique in the sky. So it could be an interesting one to see fly, or not fly as the case may be. But we'll soon find out once we've been and got it built. Right, there was a... I need to get that wedged in there somewhere as well. Right, let me stick some glue in there as well. Oh, we also need hot glue to hold the mold, put that surface in. There we go, stuff that in there. Brilliant. Which way we're sticking it? We're sticking it that way round. There we go. Right, I think that's in there straight. Do you reckon that's in there straight? Do you think we need a bit more glue? I think we need a bit more glue. We'll fill it up with glue. It'll be fine. There we go. Let's stick some glue down in there as well. Not necessarily worried about flight efficiency with this one, but it's certainly a good use to a model which I frankly wasn't using anymore, so that is a positive. I don't know how well this nose is going to hold up to an unscheduled landing. I'm sure we'll find out when we go to chuck it. So, right, that's working. We need to get that out of the way. Era says, still building a 7-inch FR7 dead cat. Oh, I remember you mentioning about that one last week when we were on the build episode. And that's the thing, is that some of these builds can just go on, and I am going to say on, but they can be quite a challenge. Do I leave the pilot? Yeah, we leave the pilot in there the wrong way round, because that just adds to the overallness. That'll be fun. Right, now I need to work out how I can get that wing in there. Do I just... What do I do? Yeah, I think we need to carve that out. So what I'm going to do, rather than trying to carve it with a knife and try and chop my hands off, I'm going to use that as a base. And then we're just going to choose a nice pen which works really well, you know. Try and not knock you out on the camera. Right. Tell you what, that needs to be, I need to aim for the middle of there. So I need to hold that still. Oh. Yeah, there we go. Maybe I shouldn't include in that nose section, that front canard, because that is going to be an absolute toad to work on now, here at the workbench, because it's right in the blooming way. Right, that goes up in there. There we go. Get that up and around. Get us, obviously, spend as much time as we should do on this, which is frankly not going to be a lot. I'm going to pull that out of the way. Just try not to take out stuff while I'm doing it. There we go, get that cut up in there as well. There we go. So I tell you what, do you reckon this one's going to fly? Well, let's face it, anything can fly unless it's called a bonanza. But do you reckon this one's going to do okay? Do you reckon it will fly and hold more than 10 seconds in the sky? Let me know. Comments right hand side of the screen. What you think is going to happen with this one. Is it just going to be a blistering pile of foam snow? Or do you think we're on to something here? It's going to be a dead cert winner? Let me know. On that note, no Luna out here in the office this morning. And the reason for that is that the poor little mite is absolutely knackered. I took her out for... I left home at 6 o'clock this morning, and I can smell that hot glue burning. I left the house at 6 o'clock this morning, and we took a walk into Bristol, which you may have seen on my Facebook profile. We took a couple of pictures while we were out, yeah, she's absolutely knackered, the poor little mite, and that's going to go in there quite well, isn't it? Look, it's even going to be forward swept. Look at that. Oh, that's going to be so tail heavy. Oh, right. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Right, anyway, moving on. We are definitely going to have an issue with hitting the centre of gravity on this one. I am going to have to go very, very careful with it. And again, what I'm trying to do is just line this up by eye. A little bit awkward. Look at the size of it. Right, trying to get that into the middle section over there. That'll do. There we go. Stay. Thank you. Right, so that cable's in the way. Get that out and done like so. Yeah, I think we're going to run into a slight CG issue with this one. We'll obviously find out when we go to lob it. or I might have a sneaky lob in the back garden and see how it handles in the sky. We'll find out very, very shortly. Oh, well, I'll let you know in the Facebook's group. It's probably the best thing for me to say on that one, because I know I've got a collection of stuff to get done. Coming back to the dog, yeah, sorry, no Luna with us here in the office today. The poor little mite is absolutely knackered. We had 2.5 hours worth of walking. It's the first time. We normally go out for a long walk every day anyway, 5 miles or something like that. Well, it's not particularly long, but she is only a tiny little miniature schnauzer. And yeah, today was the first day. She kind of looked up at me and jumped up in my leg and wanted to be carried. Bless her. So yeah, I gave her poor little legs a bit of a break, and I left her in the kitchen sound asleep. She just went in there, dug a bed, and that was the end of it. So poor little mite. So she has had quite a trek out there today, to say the least. Come on, don't want to start ruining my new Frankenstyle creation. I was going to call it, and I am thinking of calling it, I consider that hot glue gun off now, is the Voyager. But for now, it will just be known as a Sir Newton, of course, until we get it finished. I need a hole for that to go in. Need to mark that somewhere about there. And yeah, we need to make a hole for those. That's a hole. Need one on the other side. Right, that's big enough servo hole for the wings to go in. Oh, I don't know what we're going to do about the... well, we'll find out now, won't we? Stick that in there. Where does the... Oh, that is going to be a bit of an issue. Oh, have you worked out my challenge? If I put the wings in like that, we end up with slightly forward swept wings, which will look really, really cool. Really, this minute, it was going to look really cool in the sky, because we'll then have a forward swept Sir Newton. However, the practical issue with doing that is that when I stuff that one in that side, there, like so. So yeah, we'll end up with a forward swept Sir Newton, so the model will be flying in that direction. The slight issue is with the spar, because the spar wants to go that way, and that spar wants to go that way. I don't know how I'm going to fix that just yet, and I think I'm going to save that spar. I think that spar's too good to ruin, and I may go for... Is that the same size as that? Yes! Happy in days. Let's move that around. I think we're on to a winner here, because it doesn't have to be the best fit in the world. Come on, get in there, you prick. That's... Some might say too big. I got another piece here. No, that's exactly the same size as well. Oh, wait, here we go. We're in. Like I said. Right, somewhere over here. As you can see, I'm spending plenty of time on making sure that fits correctly. Right, there we go. Right, maybe. What do we do? What do we do? I could straighten that wing out and cut it into the back. Yeah. Oh, the torment. Do we bring the wings round straight, like so, and then get the, and aim to get the wing spar straight? So if we think about that, the wing spar needs to go straight through the model. I am going to have to dig back, say, that far into the foam, which there is plenty of foam there to do that, back there, and get the wing straight. Or do I just say screw it, get that out? It will come out. Oh, don't want to break it. Come on. Oh, I've got it wedged in there. Or do we put them in there like an angle? I don't know. What do you reckon? Those of you which are on live, what do you reckon? Let me know in the live chat. I'm going to pause for a moment to have a cup of coffee, because this build is progressing much quicker than what I was expecting, to be honest. And it's that, do we go for a forward swept Sir Newton, or do we try and straighten those wings up and then see what happens? I don't know. Let me know. Let's have a quick look on there. Dave says, you inspire me, Mr. Matt, an event spar. Oh, Diamonds and Rust has been this. I'm very glad that those of you which are on live, because this is one of the cool things about us working here together, and I do genuinely really appreciate this, is that Diamonds and Rust has made actually a very, very valid point, and it will help this build no end. And he's been a mention on there, is that if the wing is forward, it will put the CG towards the new nose. And you're absolutely right. So if you didn't know this, a forward swept wing, and I feel daft saying this because I kind of knew this before, and I want to say big thanks to Diamond and Rust for saying it, is that if you have a forward swept wing where the wings come forwards, is that the irony is this is the centre of gravity comes forward. So if we think about this model and the issues, well, what we've got here, well, the big issue which we've got, is that we do have a really big bum on it. And because we've got a really big bum on it, we do want the CG to come forward. So I think we've kind of answered ourselves there. And I've seen everybody else going on there for swept forwards. Let's go look on there. Yeah, Carol says, who needs a straight start? Absolutely. Killer Dave, cut the wing root on there. Or cut it off. Oh, you were on about cutting it off in there. No, I think, Dave, I think that's also a perfectly valid suggestion. I think sensibly we go with a forward swept wing because that gives us, is that wing going to flex enough? Does it? Yeah, I think we just need a spar in there just to, well, fix the mess I've just made with the, oh, whoops, broke it, oh no. I think I can fix it. I'll just ram that in there, yeah. Let's face it, it was only going into a bit of EPO foam anyway, which is, as we know, it's all made of soft cheese. So let's just quickly glue that up. There we go. Get in there. Get in there. Bit in there. Oh, a bit on there as well. A bit down there. Right. Done. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. We'll go for the forward swept wing. Ram that in there. Jam that up there. Think I might have to drill a new hole. And I tell you what, I'm going to wrap it up there-ish. I say ish because I've got to get this beautiful surface, and I should have put that hot glue gun on again. Because we do need to make sure we got that on our tail section. That looks obviously really straight there, and I need a real nice straight edge for that to glue on with. There we go. That'll do. Straighten that one up. Try not to chop my finger apart again. Put that in the way. We could always put that little landing wheel on the back end, couldn't we? That will save it. Anyway. Stick that on there. Does that look good? Do you think Park Zone are going to be stealing my idea for this? I think they might be. They're going to go, oh, look at all those Edge 300s, which we've had here for ages and not sold. Perhaps we could do a mat and turn it into a Sir Newton. Never know. Right, quickly warming that one up. Quickly moving in, looking at your chat as well. Straight chop back. I vote for forward swept. It will be well worth the look. Well worth this work with the spar. Jack B, I don't think I'm even going to bother. I'm just going to fill it with hot glue. Screw it. Because I think I'm going to need quite a lot of weight in the nose, because the centre of gravity with a Sir Newton style model is going to be, I think it's about halfway between there and there, so it's going to be about there. So I am going to have to cut this off and then ram the battery up in the nose there somehow. So that is actually kind of telling me that maybe I want to put a cut in there next and put a couple of spars inside so that we can, yeah. So that we can, or maybe I want to, is this hot enough? Yeah, that's hot enough. Fill that up with some glue, brilliant. And then get that on the back end. There we go. Get this the right way around, like so. Oh, that needs to be that way, doesn't it? Yeah. There we go. Let's glue that up. Need that obviously needs to be straight, because we don't want it flying out on a skew, do we? that straight-ish. Hot glue is really good. But am I the only one which is just... It always feels like with hot glue, you're willing it to get hot quicker, and then you're willing it to go off and set faster. You can like never win with hot glue. Am I the only one which feels like that? I think I am. Might not be. Stick that right now. There we go. That's glued on there. Obviously nice and straight. So we'll sort those wings out later. But for now, I think they're good enough. And I'll just fill it up with hot glue and be done with it. We will need a battery bay up here in the nose. So what I'm thinking is that I cut about here. That fell off. And maybe follow this. No, I can. Yeah, just cut straight down. There we go. I'm going to follow the sticker line along. Nice and accurately, of course. There we go. Over the top. Like so. Follow the sticker line down the other side. Ooh. Maybe if I cut over the top. There we go. Right. It's not working out very well, is it? Oh, that worked well. Is that going to fit round in there? Chuck that one over there. Are we in? Come on. Oh, there we go. There's our battery bay. Yeah, that's going to work. Yeah, we'll get a decent sized battery in there-ish. Might want to stick a bit, I think what I'm going to do is that if that hot glue gun's still on, which it is, what I will do is not muck around. Some might say that's a bit too long. I got some, yes, I have some square. Don't really want to use that because that was carbon fibre square. That looks like glass fibre. I think what I'm going to do is just load up a square glass fibre rod and jam that up the nose. Like so. There we go. That will keep the nose nice and strong-ish. Right, we've got a battery bay. We have a suicidal pilot. And there, ladies and gents, job done. I would like to share with you, let's get back to the main screen, which is that one there, and then I need to click on that one there. You don't really get to see how awesome that is until you see it up here on the screen. That, ladies and gents, is my new Sir Newton. I'm going to call it the Voyager, inspired by Sir Newton himself. Do you reckon this wonderful creation is going to fly or not? You can let me know in the comment section. You can let me know in the Facebook group. And by the way, I will keep you updated with the rest of its progress in the Facefuls group. It definitely looks like it's going to be, what's the correct word? Fun. Do you reckon? Do you reckon this is going to... I reckon it might fly. It's definitely tail heavy at the moment, so we might have to add a little bit of lead to the nose, which was ironically the issue which I was moaning about at the very beginning in this video, because there was a great big chunk of lead here, which was strapped up underneath the nose. Oh, there you go. That's how much lead it had in the nose before. And I think that's how much lead it's going to have, well, exactly the same amount of lead, which is going to have it rammed up its nose very, very shortly. I think the only giveaway that we might be dealing with something a little bit odd is the fin at the front, because we really do need a vertical stabiliser on this model to keep it on the straight and narrow. I might go on and maybe stick a couple of little wing fences on the ends of the wings as well. I think that would definitely be an apt addition. So there we go. That is the Voyager, and I can't wait to throw that. Just imagine that, throwing that on the... That's going to be a wicked video. Right. On that note. Ow, that's still hot. it's time for me to wrap up. Let me just quickly reiterate. Number one, the most important one of them all, is thank you to you for taking the time to join this episode. I do appreciate you joining up with me live here this morning. I'll flip back to the live chat. Can't wait for next week's episode, because if we're building something like this week, what are we doing next Saturday? Who knows? Well, I kind of already know. I kind of hinted at what we're going to be doing next week. This forward coming week, we have an episode on the XM. We have an episode on the Bixler. We're probably going to have an episode at least 4 nights this week, minimum, coming out. We'll have a video on fixing the Vorti at some point, because I really need to get that fixed. And I'll also have the Firefly here as well, which is over there in my pile of shame, which I need to sort out. So I'll get that. We'll have that one as well. There was supposed to be a Vortini being made, a little sub 250 gram model. We've seen it flying around in the Facebook group. However, we've not seen any of those being sent out as well. I asked Ewan I said I'll pay for it, send it to me, and he said he was missing a bit to do a spar or something on there, and that was like 2 weeks ago. So maybe those aren't going into production. I don't know. Genuinely don't know on that one. And yeah, there's a couple other bits as well. Oh, look out for an episode on the CNC machine. That'll come out this week as well. And also look out for the Ranger Maiden as well, which I can tell you, it went really well. The only issue I had was with the receiver, but that was nothing really to do with the model itself. So let's have a quick look. Phil says wing mirror. Absolutely, wing mirrors for the Pilot are probably absolutely needed, to say the least. David says, yeah, move the CG forward so tail heavy. So it's not so tail heavy. It's definitely tail heavy at the moment. That is a huge, great big motor which they've got in the back. I am sure in later incarnations I'll be using that motor in another model, because actually the motor was fine and it looks like a decent quality, and it also feels nice as well. You can feel when you've got good bearings in something, and that feels like a high quality motor. So yeah, ram a bit more lead in the nose. Get a nice big battery rammed up in the front too, and we'll see what happens. It looks visually, I'm genuinely impressed by this, and I want to big thanks to everybody who chipped in to what we were going to do with the wings. Is that I think we've come out with something which it's frankly better than what I expected first thing this morning. So that is the power of us as a community working together to build something, and fingers crossed it flies. Well, not funds, because I managed to stab my thumb, didn't I? What a tool. Anyway, on that note, it's time for me to go. I can only but say thank you to you for joining me here live for this Saturday's Build Saturday. And we really did build something in 1 hour and 8 minutes. That is happy days. So on that note, time for me to go. If you're not already subscribed here, don't forget to press the big red subscribe button underneath this video. If you would like to be notified of the next video when it comes out by YouTube, press the bell notification and YouTube will let you know, because it could be the maiden of the Voyager, the Sir Newton Voyager, or it could be the Ranger, or any of the other episodes which I mentioned. And of course, if you want sneak previews of episodes which are coming out, pop across to the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/rag the nuts off. So with that said, for myself, Matt, thank you very much. I'll see you again next Saturday. Same workbench, more phone. Cheerios.